Hello and welcome to my video on tips for new relationships. I'm going to cover 5 main points today. And the first one is, are you both ready? The second one is dealing with the past. The third is what to do in the relationship. Fourth is what not to do in the relationship. And 5, we will look at the different phases of relationships. Coming back to the first point, are you both ready? The first factor is time. We all need time to build a relationship together. And you need time to grow and to be mature. In the old days, people could get married when they're in their teens. Back thousands of years ago, people get married as soon as they reach their teenage years. And they were prepared for that by their families, by their communities, and they had a whole strong social support network to provide for them so that they could be successful in relationships and even marriages at 13 to 15 years old. Nowadays, that's usually illegal to get married that early, and it's usually a bad idea to even begin a relationship as a young teen, any kind of a serious relationship. And the difference is, people today take a lot more time to become more mature. They have so many different options. It takes a long time to find out their path in life. It takes a long time to become stable. You have to go through so many years of education. And so, you need to see, are you both in the right phase of your life where you are mature enough that you can begin to pursue this relationship? Along with that is closure. In other words, if you have a past relationship, is it really finished? It's really unfair to begin a new relationship if you're still trying to pursue a past relationship, or someone in your past is still trying to pursue a relationship with you. That's really unfair for your new girlfriend if she has to deal with your old girlfriend. And the same way, if your new girlfriend is still dealing with an old boyfriend problem, it's going to wreak havoc in your relationship as well. So for a good, successful relationship, you're going to have to, both of you have to have closure of your past relationships. And a third point is, you need to have stability and self-reliance. Dating should be a time where you are looking to promote growth and success. It shouldn't be looking for someone to save you, to rescue you out of your trouble. You need to be stable. And that means you shouldn't be having work problems. You shouldn't be having family problems, relationship problems with others, all kinds of money problems. If you're facing those things, you're not really in a situation that's good for building a new relationship. You need to resolve those problems first, or you're going to be a really bad bargain. And the same way, the person you're dating, if they're dealing with a lot of instability in their lives, and if they're not able to support themselves emotionally, financially, all those things, then your relationship is probably going to go through a lot of difficult factors. So try to resolve these issues before you begin to get serious in a relationship. Second is dealing with your past. One of the biggest problems in the dating scene is that most people begin dating when they're very young, in their teens, when they're in high school or even junior high. And this is when people are really selfish and they're really into getting what they can out of a relationship at the expense of someone else. And so most young people, they hurt each other. And this becomes a very serious problem as they grow older and more mature. They become wounded and hurt. And they've also wounded and hurt others as well. And so this is something that most people have to deal with. One thing you can do is learn to improve yourself. You might be naturally a shy person, but you can work and overcome that. You might be a person who's naturally angry, who gets angry easily, but you can work and overcome that. I remember even at my work situation, I had people who worked under me, and when they would mess up, I would get angry and I would yell at them. And of course, I was copying my father. When my father got angry and upset, he would just yell at us. And so I thought, well, that worked. It kept us in line, so I will do that with my employees. And one day, one of my employees stood up And she said, Peter, we don't like it when you yell at us in front of the other students. If you want to take us into the office and yell at us alone, that's fine, but don't yell at us in front of the students that we're teaching. And so I thought about that, and I decided, you know what? I think she's right. I don't need to do that. Although I like yelling at them. It makes me feel good. But it's not really healthy to do. So I said, okay, I agree with you. I will stop yelling at you. And not only in front of the students, but I will stop yelling, period. I will find ways to correct without abusing people. And you know, that wasn't easy. And that actually took me months and years to become really good at. And even today, I still sometimes lose control and insult or hurt people. So it is not a perfect process, but you can improve yourself, and you should improve yourself. Don't accept whatever you did in the past is going to control your future forever. You can overcome these things. And also, you need to forgive. A lot of people have hurt you in the past, and you are always protecting yourself so that other people won't hurt you. But in protecting yourself, you will often hurt your current relationships. You turn people away, you turn people off, you insult, you reject because you're afraid of letting people get close where they can hurt you again. And so the best response is to let go of what everybody has done to you and forgive them. Now that doesn't mean you have to like the other person who hurt you or even want to help them. This is about helping yourself because you are carrying the pain. That person who hurt you long ago is still controlling you, still hurting you. And by forgiving that other person, you let it go and you can move on with your life. And if you've hurt other people, you might need to forgive yourself. You might need to go back to them and ask them to forgive you. You might need to try to make things right with them. And this will allow you to step forward and not be controlled by your past anymore. Now, what to do on a relationship? Well, one, have fun. This is always great advice. Have fun. Have fun together. Find out what you like to do and do it. Don't let your relationship become stale. Don't focus on improving the other person. You want to improve yourself, but on a date, on a relationship, your goal is not to improve the other person. Your goal should be have fun. Your second goal, to discover each other, to find out what that other person is like. Get to know that person deeper and deeper. That's what intimacy is all about. It is about the process of discovery. And allow yourself to be discovered. Allow the other person to get to know you in a deeper way. Don't spend your life on shallow jokes and trivia. Share your values. Share your pains. Share the important truths of your life. And another point here, be synergize. You want to be stronger together than you are apart. If you are weaker together, if you don't make a good team, then your relationship has a serious problem and you probably should consider breaking up. But if you can find a person who you partner with and you are stronger together. For example, I'm an intellectual. I love thinking deep thoughts. I like challenging ideas. But my wife, she is a practical person and she is much more into details. And so I can come home and say, all day long, I've been working on a new theory of relativity. And she'll say, you know, your shirt's on backwards. Wow. Something I would never have even noticed. In fact, that's really happened in life. Except for the relativity stuff, I'm not that great. Try to become better together. Synergize. 4, let's talk about what not to do in a relationship. 1 is don't go too fast. Don't go for intimacy, either emotional or sexual, too quickly. This is exactly how people get hurt. They go fast and they don't have the level of comfort and trust build up, and so you end up taking advantage of each other, and one person ends up in regret. And this is what a lot of this regret and leads to a lot of pain and regret in people's lives. Another thing is don't be fake. This is especially important in the early part of your relationship because most of the time in an early dating situation, people, they're really fake. They dress up, they look nice, they smell nice, but it's just an act. Don't try to get somebody to fall in love with a phony persona. Don't try to get somebody to love a person who's not really there. You need to be real. It's okay to be your best, but the best you, not the best imitation of Tom Cruise, imitation of Scarlett Johansson. And also, don't manipulate. Don't try to control people. Don't manipulate them. You need to let them be themselves. Remember we said you want to improve yourself, but don't try to improve other people. The best you can do is lead by example, to inspire others to change. But in your fear, in your anger, don't resort to controlling and manipulating others. Now let's go through the phases of relationship. In the beginning, you have this honeymoon phase where everything is wonderful, you feel good, in fact, you feel like you're on a new kind of drug. And when you have small differences, they really seem invisible. Other people could see potential problems, but you can't see it at all. Eventually that wears away. And then you end up discovering things you don't like about that person, things that make you uncomfortable or unhappy. And this is where many relationships fail. We get to the self-sabotage phase. When you find out that they have an annoying habit that you really don't like, and you don't deal with it well, you deal with it in a selfish way. You end up sabotaging the relationship. You don't intend to, you don't want to, but you go back to old habits that made problems before, and they make problems again. You are sabotaging your own relationships. And the same way, the person that you have a relationship with, they don't deal with some of your problems well, and they sabotage the relationship, actually mostly by accident, not by design. But if you can stick the course, if you can figure out how to overcome your self-sabotage phase, then you reach the stage of negotiation where you say, okay, this is what I want, and how can I give you what you want so I can get what I want? These are my boundaries. Where are your boundaries? Maybe I can move my boundaries if you do this for me. This is a good phase. This is a very healthy phase, and most relationships stay in this phase. But there is a final phase, which I call union, where you are willing to sacrifice for the other person's benefit. You're no longer negotiating for yourself. You're now willing, you know what the other person wants and what they need, and you're willing to work hard to sacrifice, give up some of your desires so that they can have their desires. And the other person does the same. If only one person does that, it's kind of an unfair relationship. But when both of you do this, when both of you are sacrificing for the other person, then you have a real union. And you're going to have a very successful long-term relationship if you can reach this union stage. So here, these are the tips for the new relationship. Hopefully you can make it last and reach to the final stage of union. If you'd like to see more, you can click on the link below and see my website where I discuss all these dating tips. Thank you.